Togo, the House of Representative has actually proposed the parliamentary system of elections where it will be mantled on the elected representative to elect who becomes the president of the country, Togo. And it has actually sparked some conversation. Some level of comparison has been made. This is an effort by the parliament to see how they can actually reduce the cost of elections. These are the issues we'll be taking a look at today. And of course, the Senegal 44-year-old Senegalese has actually become the president of the country amidst tensions and rivals, from the country. We'll also do a bit of touch over there and see what is the lessons for Nigeria as a country. These are the issues we'll be taking a look today with my guests, who of course will be joining us very soon. We'll go on a short break right now. Once we return, we'll start the conversations. Don't go away. But the time for still stay with us. Darlington Jasmine is a public affairs and human rights activist, of course, who's joining me for the convention today. Good to have you, Darlington. It has been, I've actually not heard from you for a while, and then I was beginning to wonder if you are no more actually in the activism again. But good to have you join us on the show today. Of course, on Monday, we saw how the lawmakers of Togo have proposed a form where they're actually not ready, to engage a lot of costs in elections. And so many questions and concerns and implications are actually being raised. As a person, do you feel that that's a way to go for Africa? Do we really have the capacity to manage lawmakers, the integrity of lawmakers, to elect president for us?
All right, thank you very much, my very good friend. I'm always blunt when I speak. First, you need to get it right before you entrust a certain set of people to make the decision. As a country, Nigeria, have not even gotten it right to elect a local government chairman. I'm not talking about entrusting a legislative body that is very corrupt. The same people that go on with budget padding and the rest to elect a president for us. It will be the worst mistake that will happen in Nigeria for four major reasons. One of the reasons is, one, if that is made in Nigeria, the region with the highest population will always hijack the power, because the legislative system of government is the majority has the vote. Secondly, the level of corruption we have in our legislative system does not give us that chance to go through it. Togo must have gotten their elections right. That's why they are going to cut the cost. We've not even gotten a local government election and council right. So how are we talking about cutting the election? It's until we get the elections right, that's when we can go about cutting the cost of election. You cannot be failing mass and you want to go and do further mass. So that's the major thing. I don't think we've gotten there yet in Nigeria to talk about legislators picking the president for us. The same legislators that cannot call the executive to order when they are misbehaving, are they the people that will not elect the presidency? No, I don't think we've gotten there yet. Maybe in the nearest future, when we get it right, then we can go to that direction.
Why people are making this comparison is because now government said that a Ronsel report that they're trying to adopt, meaning merging some ministries and parastatal and agencies, is an effort to reduce cost of governance. And then, of course, the arm of government, the legislative arm of government in Nigeria has House of Representatives and the Senate, 109 senators of over 360 House of Reps. It feels they are not doing the job, and the expectations is that if they are not doing their job, we hire them to do their job. If they're not doing their job, then there is no really need for us to have that kind of number, in the legislature. Mindful of the fact that also these are a special arm of government. Do you share in that same sentiment?
Okay, I will deviate from this. I'll be a bit sentimental because I was a legislator, so I understand the job of the legislator. The reason why we feel this is because we feel our legislators are not working. Nevertheless, the truth be that they are not working the right job. Let me tell you, the legislative job is a very cumbersome one. Reason being that legislators are supposed to produce the law, which the judiciary uses in carrying out its duty. The legislative arm of the government is also supposed to checkmate the executive arm to make sure they are keeping to their office, they are doing the right thing. When budgets come, they are supposed to scrutinize it. Look at the case going on in the Senate today about budget padding and the rest. I can categorically tell you that last year budget, after it was passed, there's no ministry that gave 90% of what they offered. The budget they brought in, not 90% of it was actualized. But if the legislative system of the government is up and doing, first when budgets come, they are supposed to scrutinize it properly. Look at the ones that are wasteful, that the country does not need first. But most of the time when budgets come, they don't even take 30 minutes, they just adopt it. They don't scrutinize it, they don't see the efficacy of the budget. Nigeria is a very big country. Just the Senate cannot get it right. I will tell you with all due respect, the Senate cannot get it right. Just the representatives cannot get it right. We always need a second opinion. Whenever it passes through the lower house, it gets to the upper house, they deliberate on it again before it goes. Nigeria is a very complex country. Truth be told, there is no country in Africa that is as complex as Nigeria. We have religious issues, we have regional issues, we have tribal issues, we have fanatics. So just one set of people cannot get it right. We make a lot of mistakes. I've been privileged to sit in the National Assembly a couple of times, hear them deliberate on issues. So I know, as I know my name, that if one of the arms is scrapped, we are going to get a lot of things wrong. Let me just draw your attention to a particular bill. When they pushed for the Not Too Young to Run bill, most people did not notice that the Senate refused to reduce the age for running for Senate. You must be 35. That bill was pushed that from 30 you can run for Senate. I don't think when I get to 35 I'll be wiser than when I'm 30. Wisdom does not come by age. It comes by continuous hunger for knowledge. So you can get a man of 70 years who is also foolish and get a boy of 18 years who is very, very wise. So it doesn't come with age. It comes with your hunger for knowledge, your test to get something upstairs. So I don't think age should be a factor for leadership. So the legislative arm of the government is divided into those two districts, and it's good. The junior house adopted and reduced the age, but the upper house refused. If it has been left for just the upper house, it would have been a problem. If they had rejected it, it would have a total downpour. So you need to wait till you grow old before you can be a leader. So I think we should let that slide for now. Our major interest should be how to see that we elect the right people into the legislative arm of the government. For now, most people in the legislative arm of government know nothing about legislative business. One, the legislative arm of the government in the upper chamber, the Senate, is full with corrupt retired governors who are supposed to be in prison for their corrupt practices as governors. When it comes to the legislative arm of the government, most of the House of Rep members are not people with prudent profile. They are people with questionable characters. I would have loved to call some names, but I will avoid that for my own personal security. There are people that are in the House of Reps today who are known to be ex-thugs, ex-militants and the rest, and they are there to create laws. People who broke the law, how can they not create the same law? So these are the things we should be checking out. The system is not working. So I would not ask for that. It's a very wrong motion for now. It's not healthy.
All right. If we look at Togo, Togo is a French colonized country, and then some allegations have been made. And then even look at the fact that it is actually because of corruption, as you really feel, because the concern has been, oh, fine, it is a fantastic move by Togo. Probably it works for them, and they might actually have intention. But due to the corrupt practices that we have been having in this region of the world, Africa has been, sometimes we've gotten independence, but it seems we are still being controlled by our colonial masters. Do you feel that the move by Togo is for the better of the residents of the country, or do you feel that it's a political move, to scuttle powers of electing who becomes the president to the few hands of lawmakers?
I would say it's not the best move for now for Togo, because Togo is still not among the world powers, so they still battle with corruption. we always say corruption this, but corruption is not an African language, it's an English word. So that means it occurs in every place. But the problem back home here is that when corruption favors you, you call it favor, you call it grace. When it's against you, you fight against it. You see people going to various religious houses to give testimonies and the rest on how they were favored through a corrupt process, which is very wrong. You need to call a spade a spade. You can't tell a thief today, tell a thief you're a thief. Change from that way. If we start admonishing and calling our politicians order, I don't think we need to battle so much about it. Like my dad would always tell me, said in the early 80s, 90s, things were a bit better. Why was things better? People had integrity. I will tell you now, in my state, in Imo State, there is no governor for the past 20-something years, heading to 30 years of democracy, can beat a 3-year tenure of a particular ex-governor, Sir Simon Bakwe. And when he ruled that state, it was as big as 2 states, now almost 3. And yet, development spread across all board. So we don't see, most of the things we are fighting for are not the right thing. It's we ourselves. The legislators are supposed to pick, as it's not the same corrupt people we are going to push there. On election day, you see your uncle is a criminal. You want him to go there and say, anyhow, my uncle should be there, even though he's a thief. So we need to first work on our side, on ourselves. There's no, we can't pick a cent from today and say, go and lead. No, they first need to be trained. They need to understand the problem they are going to solve. One biggest problem we have in Nigeria is that most people going to on the election day to go and vote, they don't even know why they are supposed to vote. They don't have a reason to vote. Some people vote, this man feels fine, let me go and vote him. They just give stupid reasons to vote. You don't understand that the person you're supposed to vote in that 4 years, he determines the rate of your growth. Let me tell you, if we get it right, then most of the things we pray for will just automatically disappear. So that's the problem. We need to know why we need to vote. That is the most important thing. Once you know why you need to vote, then you start voting rightly.
Nigerians tried to vote rightly in 2023 elections, and it seems something went wrong somewhere. And this is actually the reason for this also conversation. Is the fact that so much billions was spent for the budget of INEC to conduct an election. We promised beavers and all of that, and this has not been put to use. Do you now feel then there's need for us to continue wasting our resources on the authors of the elections, whereas we do not get anything in return? Because these are some of the reports we've been able to file.
In Nigeria, even if you don't waste that money on election, they will still loot it.
So it's still better to still spend on election?
If save it, they will still loot it. The money Governor Peter Obi saved as a governor, when his successor came in, he looted the money. EFCC chased him for a few minutes and they left him. What we should be talking about is electoral reform. The INEC should be totally independent. The president cannot be picking who becomes the chairman of INEC, and you expect him to do the right thing. No, he will do the bidding of his paymaster until there is a process that brings in the INEC chairman, that brings in the Chief Justice of the Federation, that is not in any way recommended by any political office. Then, and only then, can we get it right. I heard a former Senator Shehu Sani, talking the other day on Twitter, in the space of Twitter. He said he was applauding President Goodluck Jonathan. He said Jonathan was the only president that picked an INEC chairman of someone he never knew, he has never met before, which is in the person of Professor Taye Ujiga, to be the INEC chairman. And if you could see, on the election day, he came with an open mind to the election. He knew he chose for the betterment of the people. He didn't want to fight over it. Those are leaders. If INEC is always being appointed by the presidency, you can never get it right. INEC commissioners should not come from the presidency. The last election, the former president, Muhammad Buhari, he tried appointing someone from his party to become an INEC commissioner. People fought over it. So that is what should be. There should be a system. The legislative arm of the government should wake up. Once they wake up, give us a good concrete electoral reform document that has a single interpretation. Our electoral documents today, they have multiple interpretations. So every corrupt lawyer can always use fine-tune it to his own benefit. So that's a major problem we have today. The Nigerian laws are not, they have multiple interpretations, so we can't get it right. With a A boy should be a boy. A boy should not be defined as, maybe he may be a boy or maybe a girl. The law should be straightforward. The law should be straightforward. If they say you must win Abuja, it should be in the constitution that for you to be the president of Nigeria, you must win 24 states and you must win Abuja, not an Abuja like it happened the last time. So these things should be straightforward. If the constitution says INEC must use BVAS to upload server at so given time after election, if that is not done, the election should be cancelled, then it should be straightforward. You cannot say INEC has the power to either upload or not to upload. So then what is the constitution? That's the problem. I will always say people, the Nigerian constitution having multiple interpretation affects the country how it runs. It's just looking like a notebook that has no direction. It can be interpreted in 2-3 different ways. So corrupt lawyers will always use it to pushing their corrupt candidates into the house. Okay, let's look for example the former Senate president. What is he doing there? Was he supposed to be there? Is Ahmed Lawal supposed to be back in the Senate with the former constitution that says you cannot run for both this in the same time? But how was he able to go back? So we need a document, a concrete document that has one interpretation. So
the document that we have is not more enough?
It's not.
The 2022 amended constitution, I mean, electoral reforms has not really answered that.
I said it hasn't. The last electoral reform, I told it to the senators there, that the documents this document they brought up is total rubbish. It has multiple interpretations. You can see it has favored many corrupt politicians. Is Akpabio supposed to be in the Senate? Didn't Akpabio run for presidency? He dropped on the day of the primaries election, but has already bought the primary election form for presidency. So he contested. Same thing with Ahmed Lawal.
Don't you think it's a party affairs?
It's not a party affairs. This is what the constitution said. So there are many irregularities. The constitution, the judiciary cannot even uphold the constitution because it has multiple interpretation. It has multiple interpretation. In as much as it has multiple interpretation, they can't do anything. The law is always being by who comes up with the best facts and best argument. So that is it. The present constitution, the present constitution now cannot bring in any good leader in because it has multiple interpretation. And with that, you can never get the best out of it. So that's my own take.
So moving forward, we are quite having issues of elections, corrupt elections, in Africa. But one may begin to ask, do you feel that if nothing is being done, we will actually have a military takeover, like junta taking over some other countries in Africa? Because it seems that the waves, if you go to Niger, some Nigerians are actually happy with the current situation in the country. So it seems that corruption is sitting deep and it is a threat to our democracy. Do you feel that this is a concern and a message to African leaders?
Definitely it is, but I would condemn anybody that is celebrating military regime. The worst democracy is always better than the best military regime. You could see what happened in Delta. The military regime will always be an autocratic government. At least, if it was a military regime, I don't think I can be speaking like this. Maybe as I'm going down, there will be a military hilux waiting to put me in the back, in the booth. Even if it happens today, people will always stand up to shout and say, no, it's not supposed to be so. So the worst democracy will always be better than the best military regime. For now,
saving cost of governance. How about saving cost of governance?
It still would not save cost of governance. If you agree with me, most of the highest corrupt leaders we had in power in Nigeria were military presidents, military regime. They looted the country. They looted. Are the civilians looting? Yes, they are. They are stealing. They are looting. But you can still come up and challenge them. Like when I came in, I saw the picture of Dele Giwa there. Everybody know the cause of his death.
Oh, okay.
Dele Giwa. But since then to now, in this present regime, how many journalists has gone through that same protest in democracy? Many have spoken even worse than Dele Giwa did, and they are still alive. So the worst democracy will always be better than the best military regime. But nevertheless...
So why are they not learning their lessons?
Nevertheless, the problem with Nigeria, the next problem Nigeria may get is the poor salary structure of the military. You can't give a soldier a gun and be paying him 50-something thousand. At some point, there may be a radical that will incite them into doing the needful. So what we need to talk, we shouldn't pray for a military regime. It's not the best. It won't be the best. But we should shout and ask for our politicians to wake up. There is no time a tiger taking a food from a lion will ever be better. The both of them are always hunters. They will always eat flesh. So that is it.
Do you feel that issues of the constitution, in the country, as you said, some laws, is it that we really need new laws? The laws, the existing laws fully implemented? Because it seems that issues hasn't really been, issues of making laws, policies. We have had thousands and hundreds of laws and policies that have not been implemented. And these have scuttled the performance of institutions of government to function. Do you feel what are the mechanisms should be put in place to see how, this can be implemented?
First, there should be a national convention. The 1999 Constitution should be kept aside. There should be a national convention where every state will first of all have what is called town hall meeting. If every village will produce and send to a local government, they will have their own consensus meeting. Then from the local government, they will pick people that will go to the senatorial zone. They will have their own this in there. From there, then they will now pick people from the senatorial zone that will now represent the states in the national convention. Then we could make it that every senate zone will produce 3 persons. Then totally a state will produce 9 persons. At this national convention, they will now speak the mind of the people.
What if they come and they now share dollars in the national
Definitely
convention?
they are likely to share dollars. It's a normal something. But it must be televised live for everybody to see. So if I know we sent you there and we had an agreement and you're coming on television and you're saying what we did not say, when you come back home, we'll go visit you. We're not talking about being hostile, but we'll visit you and say, Uncle, this is not what we agreed now. So what are you going to say?
They may end up taking laws into their hands.
No, they won't. But when you remember that the people that sent you are seeing you, definitely you will know. When I was a senator representing my constituency in the university, what I always do is I always come back to my people. I'll call the senator. I say, people who are the people that sent me, this is the law that we're battling to push in. If I neglect you people without representing you people, then it means you people are not the people that sent me. What do you people think? A stakeholders meeting will hold, everybody will speak. Then I'll be going back. I'll say, this is what my people sent me. The people that sent me, this is what their stand is. Because I did not send myself. People sent me there. And that's how it's supposed to be. Not people just going there. Some senators feel, forget those people. Election night, if we share for 5,000 naira, we'll still win again. Some persons have been in that house for almost 20 something years. What are they doing? Are they the smartest in their constituency? Let's be honest, are they the smartest in their constituency? Do you mean there are no other people that can be there? As a governor, as an ex-governor, what are you doing in the Senate? You should be resting. If you have served your people for 8 years, you should be resting. What are you still going there to? Does it mean, the ones you did not achieve as a senator, as a governor, is that what you want to achieve as a senator? So these things are things we should talk about.
We've been mounting a lot of pressure on politicians, and then the politicians have reacted that, civil servants and the people are also contributing, to the inefficiency of the system. For instance, Beta Edo's did not actually get embezzled that funds without, some workings of the ministry. We are having a civil servant. Minister can never do anything in the ministry without the civil servant. The governor can do anything, without some approval of the head of service or some levels, to practice this thing. So do you really feel that the people of Nigeria are also undermining the effort of, getting things right? Because, the whole system tries to, as everybody is the survival of the fittest, everybody wants to scramble whatever they can actually get. And then this is actually making things so more difficult. We can't really trace who. Because these are the factors that have been undermining the system.
Okay. Are our civil servants corrupt? Yes, they are. They're 100% corrupt. But you tell me that a man will work for 35 years. After service, you have to battle to get his pension. You have to battle to get his gratuity. Okay, last week, from my alma mater in Port Harcourt, one of our teachers, he was a Canadian, a white man. He died. It's after his death now that we started hearing that after his retirement, the River State government refused to pay him his gratuities and his pensions. And out of that, he couldn't take care of himself and he died. So you tell me if a person like that had the opportunity to steal, why won't he steal? When you see a politician, a politician you served many years before him coming on board to become a governor, and after 8 years of governor, you are seeing the jumbo package he's having. You see students gallivanting the outer world in Europe, America, and the rest. You also want to follow that. Everybody wants a good life. First of all, if in a home, a father is disciplined and straightforward, believe me, the children will be disciplined and straightforward. In the developed world, presidents and ministers, they go to jail for corruption. Mention one president after leaving his seat that has gone to jail. The only governor that went to jail in Nigeria is about 2 of them, and they were politically motivated. They were not done because they were just corrupt. They were done for political reasons. So, tell me, how are we getting it right? You blame the civil servants. Yes, they are corrupt. But who are the people to checkmate them? EFCC today is also corrupt.
All right. We're going to a quick break right now. Once we return, we'll be taking a look at some of the implications of the move by Togo to adopt the new constitutions regarding the elections. These and other issues we'll be taking a look after this break. Please stay with us. Many time for staying with us. Away from Togo, we'll be taking a look at Senegal, where President Tinubu has congratulated Mr. Faye on his election as the president-elect of the Republic of Senegal. He also congratulated the incumbent President Macky Sall for overseeing an election widely deemed as peaceful and transparent. Tinubu's message is contained in a statement that was signed by Special Advisor on Media. Tinubu congratulates the people of the Republic of Senegal and, of course, the emergence of the Senegal president-elect after an unprecedented victory at the presidential election on Sunday, March 24, 2024. Darlington, what message, a 44-year-old man, coming from nowhere to become the president of Senegal, is this a good news for Africa?
Yes, it is. It is. It's a joyful one. It's a beautiful one. It gives us hope. You know, Nigeria is the hope of Africa, but today Senegal has changed that
so they are now taking the lead.
They are now taking the lead, and it's a beautiful one. And I pray that this young man does not disappoint us like the young man we gave power in Kogi State did in Nigeria when we felt it's time for a young person to lead and maybe make a difference, and he went there and messed things up and disgraced the young people. But I pray and I wish, hopefully, that he would transform Senegal into a global village. With, as a young person, you should be able to know the value of technology and how you can move it into his economy and make it better. At least move from the analog system to a digital system, and at least maybe from the African can navigate through it and see it as a beam of hope and navigate through that direction.
Some have argued that leadership is all about age. For instance, Joe Biden is more than 70 years, and President Tinubu's 71 is not also a different case study, when you compare United States president and that of Nigeria, and that we shouldn't really be, advocating for the fact that young people must really lead. Are you subscribing to that assertion?
I don't. I don't think even I can see my dad at 16 and trying to go for any political position. It's an insult to me. It's a big insult because he should be resting. See, you can't tell me age is a factor because when you, as a leader, you need to work around the clock. Can President Tinubu work for 20 hours today? Can he sit in a deliberative meeting for 20 hours? He can't. Age is not his friend. In Nigeria, some of the best leaders we've ever had are they achieved a lot at their young age. You look at the likes of Murtala, look at the likes of the young Ibrahim Babangida and the rest. Most of the notable things you see, the Ted Milambini and all those things, were done by young leaders. In the world, till eternity, young leaders will always oversee better projects because they can easily communicate with the people more than in Nigeria today. The population of Nigeria is more of the young people. Let's ask ourselves: can President Tinubu do some digital stuff today? There are things that can be given to him that will sound like a mirage to him. So that is not true. Fools do grow old. So age doesn't come with wisdom. I will always say fools do grow old. You don't take advice from everybody. There are fools at 70, and there are very intelligent people at 18, 19. So age is not a criteria for being smart or being intelligent or being a good leader. Leadership is about personal development. Your ability to always long for knowledge, personal development. You keep developing yourself. So that's it for me.
Why do you feel that young people sometimes get to fail, get to disappoint in the long run of after, getting the mandate of the people? And then that it seems that always some a cockroach in the cupboard, undermining the performances of young people. It seems the system. What has been your thought?
Most times it's not just the system. Most times it's the wrong advices. I could remember when I came to Abuja and I was to manage a particular facility. I came in as a manager. The person that was managing them became my assistant, and it was she was around 20-something years older than me. And when I came in, the young man started advising me, you need to be careful of this person. You're very young for you to be his leader, and he'll be answerable to you. You know that that he may be fetish, he may do this. I'm not the kind of leader that just listens to something and take it. I decided to go close to this person, find out how to communicate with him. I tell you today, he's one of the best people I've ever worked with. Yesterday was in my house, came to check up on me. After almost 2 years, I left the same establishment with him. But I built a bridge of friendship. Age is not a factor of leadership. You can be young and still be a failure, and you can be old and still be a failure as a leader. But the most important thing is for you to continuously develop yourself. I will overemphasize this. The dullest child can also be a smart child if he decides to start developing himself. And the smartest child can be dull if he feels he has known too much and stop developing himself. So leadership does not come by age. Wisdom does not come by age. It comes by personal development. That's my take.
We've had a young man of about 30 or 40 being the EFCC chairman. Of course, of recent, not really a long one. And young people were accusing him of also using the same musician that he was meant to lead, to actually make some reforms in the sector, to be pursuing after young people, all in them of the cyber crimes and all of that. So he feels some young people, sometimes find it very difficult to also give support, to the young people. Take, for instance, in the country, we've also had young people, vying positions in some unknown parties. Go and check the statistics of who are, supporters of that. For instance, I can take my federal constituency, we had a young man of 25 who was contesting for an House of Reps. And then the people were saying, you don't have money to give to us, we cannot support you, we are not after your ideologies and all of that.
What is his name?
He was contesting under YPP, Austin Bear.
Okay.
In Akwa Ibom State.
Okay, I had a young friend too from Cross River. Frederick Maziman, who also did the same under YPP. The thing is that most times you don't just come out for election 2 or 3 months to election. As I am now, I have developed myself to a very high level when it comes to leadership. But I don't think I can just jump into my community and decide to run for it. My people know me. They know my capacity. They know what I can deliver on. But the other constituencies that are attached, do they know me? So I need to also establish and prove to them that I'm not just a leader par virtually saying I'm a leader with par excellence. So people should not just come out 2 months to election and expect to win because they are young. They should learn how to mentor people. Mentor people. When you mentor people and they become successful, people will come to you. So that's my own take on that.
It's evidently that it seems a lot of young people are beginning to have the boldness to come out to contest, and this is evident to the fact that Faye has actually given the way as the first youngest ever president, in the West African region of the country. And then one unique aspect has been that he was being jailed on charges of defamation and contempt of court, and it has also been a problem in this country. Institutions have been used, to fight young people, to undermine the effort of young people. I wouldn't be surprised that Darlington maybe actually also be trying court, in the name of contempt and all of that. Do you feel that the institutions are really against the young people, coming on board?
Any day.
But it has always been that system.
It has always been a factor. Me standing here, I have slept in the police detention while I was fighting for the right of the Nigerian students in my days in the university. But I had a father who taught me a lot. He always said that the day you choose to fight for people, that day you should learn how to be selfless. You should learn how to be selfless. And the detentions, the prisons, and the cells are not built for animals. They are built for human beings. It will be better for you to sleep in the cells knowing you're fighting for the right thing and you actualize it on a particular time, for you to live in the palace and you have no moral stand. So we can take one of the greatest leaders in Nigeria, in African history, Nelson Mandela. He spent 25 years in prison. He still came out and became one of the best presidents South Africa has ever had. So it's not about how long it took you fighting. Make sure you're focused. Make sure what you're fighting for is right, is fair, and is just. So that's it.
Do you feel Nigerians, politicians have learned the lessons from what has actually happened in Senegal, and the expectation to the fact that they might actually, find some motivation to allow the young people, the chance to also lead?
They've not learned anything. If the NSAS did not teach the Nigerian politicians anything, then nothing can teach them. The real thing, the day the youth wake up, I tell you the truth, this country will be a very funny country. Today, they are still trying to divide us. They're using poverty to divide us. So that's the major thing. The day the youth wake up, if you go to the Niger Delta region, you find out that the youth have woken up to a point. They no longer buy votes just like that. People now try to vote what they want, not just by their monetary policies anymore. People can actually take that money from them and still not vote for them. But it's still predominantly in the north where people still buy votes for as cheap as 1,000 naira and the rest. So we pray when our northern brothers get to that level where they will reject those peanuts and say, no, this is not what my 4 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's it.
It is a good day for people of Senegal, and of course we're joining our voices to congratulate the president. Of course, that expectations of the people and Africa, not just Africa, West Africa, is actually high on the president to actually make this performance, and that's the size of a package of the convention tonight with Darlington Clifford, human rights activist and a public affairs analyst. Many thanks for joining us on the conversations. Many thanks for staying with us on the program. To see you again tomorrow on Big Talk. I remain Dick and Michael. Thanks for watching. See you again.